I'm Madhu Sharma and this is Design Mind. Every episode we teach your mind about design by analysing a website. In this episode of Design Mind, we are looking at Shout Factory, which sells classic TV shows on DVD. The company has recently launched a preview version of its new website. The site has two key features which make it excellent. Firstly, even though the company has a vast catalogue of items, the website does an excellent job of being organised and easy to browse. Secondly, nostalgia plays a key role in a customer's decision to purchase a classic show on DVD, and, as we will see, the website is very effective at tapping into this. Let's start by analysing the front page. The front page begins with this full screen slideshow. You'll notice that there are no product shots. Instead, all the images are taken from the actual episodes of each show. On the Shout Factory blog, the design team explains that they decided not to use product shots on purpose. Regular Design Mind viewers will know that we are big fans of product shots. The reason for this is that web pages aren't physical, so being able to see a physical object makes it easier for the audience to appreciate the item as being real. In this case, the screen captures work much better. This is because nostalgia is a key motivator for customers to buy these products, and so seeing these images directly taps into memories of the past. Perhaps the only downside with using these screen captures is that the age of the show means that the images are a bit fuzzy. One of the problems with nostalgia is that people tend to remember the past being better than it actually was, and so these fuzzy images probably don't match up with customers' own memories. Then again, many of the shows for sale have a reputation of being somewhat cheesy, so this fuzziness will be part of the charm. This Shout Factory logo, however, seems to be quite blurry, and this is inexcusable. Many of the titles Shout sells weren't previously available for sale, and so fans had to make do with unofficial bootleg DVDs on eBay. This blurry Shout logo instantly recalls the amateurish homemade packaging of bootleg DVDs, which is something that Shout would want to distance itself from. Scroll down and we get this row of logos, which is a great way of showcasing all the brands Shout has to offer. Many web design agency websites often use a similar monochrome block of logos to showcase their clients. On those sites, the lack of colour makes sense, as an agency site is designed to showcase their portfolio, so they don't want the logos to draw attention away from this. On the Shout Factory site, however, the use of black and white is a mistake, as it makes the brands less recognisable. It also causes the brands to seem old and dated, which will go against the fond memories that customers have. Underneath we have these tiles that showcase products from new and upcoming releases, the Shout Factory blog, staff picks, and then popular products from each of the product categories. This is a brilliant way of exposing content, as with a quick scroll the user can get an instant overview of everything the site has to offer. Of course, exposing this much content creates the risk of making the page too long and off-putting, but Shout perfectly avoids this through a deep understanding of its customer base, which can be divided into two groups. The first group consists of customers who want to purchase classic DVDs, but are unsure of exactly which titles to buy. The news, blog, and staff pick sections are aimed at them, as they provide an idea as to which products the customer should look at first. These sections have a larger size to make them more accessible. The second group are customers who have come to the site to purchase a specific title. The product categories are aimed at this group. The use of compact tiles for these categories allow them to showcase a wide range of products without being overpowering. When hovering over a tile, the whole image is replaced with this View Product message. This is overpowering, especially when it overlaps with the text. It's great to provide clear hovering feedback, but the message could be much smaller. At the bottom is this news feed that shows posts from Twitter. Given its function, it's a bit oversized. Shout has other social media channels, so it would be nice if some of that content was also in this area. Let's look at the category pages. Each category begins with this banner image. The image doesn't really add anything to the page. It would have been nice if they had added a line of text to explain which show the image is from. That way the banner could function to highlight a particular product. Immediately underneath we have this bar that lets the user filter titles by either date or media type. The use of the date picker is particularly clever. Instead of hiding dates in a menu, they have laid it out as a timeline and have even called it a time warp. It's a small touch, but it makes it much more fun and interesting to use. Underneath is this category bar. Rather than going for a boring list of categories, Shout have used a special font for each one, making them feel like individual logos. This makes the list much more visually appealing and much easier to understand at a glance. The black and white works much better here, as it unifies all the different fonts and stops them from being overpowering. Scroll down and we can see the return of the grid from the front page. Given the vast number of titles that Shout Factory has to sell, it certainly makes sense to use the filter options, as without them the page can be a nightmare to scroll due to its long length. A lot of users will probably scroll down first without using the filters. Therefore, it might have been a good idea to group products by year, and perhaps by brand as well, to make the list more accessible. In addition, it would have been better if the time warp was a sticky header to ensure that it was always on screen. This would allow the user to quickly filter titles without having to scroll back to the top. Let's move on to analyse the temp poll pages. These are quite similar to the category pages, except they focus on a specific brand. Like the category page, they start with a large image, except the user can click this More button on the right to learn more about the item. Hiding the text away might not seem like a good idea, but then again, the people who come to these pages will probably be a fan of the brand, and so will probably already know this information. Therefore, hiding the text allows the image to have maximum impact. The main difference with the tent pole pages is the addition of this live wall. Part of Shout's success over the years has been its ability to connect to various fan communities to find out what extra features they would like on the DVD releases. So in theory, displaying a live wall of fan activity is a great way of promoting this valuable connection to fandoms. Unfortunately, the execution is rather poor. The wall works by finding tweets related to a brand, but this results in lots of irrelevant information. For example, many of the tweets are in a foreign language, while other tweets are usually part of a larger conversation and so don't make sense out of context. I'm also not sure why they needed to draw so much attention to each tweet by making the font so large and placing it on a red background. A further negative aspect is the weird amount of empty space in the middle and on the right. It just seems without purpose and it unbalances the whole design. Although users can share these tweets, it doesn't really offer any benefit to Shout. For example, if I reshare this tweet, there's no reference to the fact that I found it on the Shout website. Personally, I'd scrap this section entirely. Instead, they should display case studies on particular fans, showing how they have contributed to the extras on the DVDs. This would be a much better way of highlighting the extra value fans bring to the discs. Let's analyse the product pages. I'm cycling here through a range of products. As you can see, they all begin with this large banner that showcases the most important information. In many ways, this is great, as the customer can understand the key information at a glance. On the other hand, it suffers from being a bit too uniform. As discussed, nostalgia is a key factor in purchasing. The uniform design goes against this. For example, I know little about My Little Pony, but I'm pretty certain this large block of grey goes against people's happy memories of My Little Pony. Here are some pages that I have mocked up. I think these work much better. There's a uniform identity between the pages, but the design connects more to the customer's beloved memories of these brands. Admittedly, the design is a little bit more busy, but if I knock out the background and just use a single colour, it still works much better than the large grey block that's on the actual site. Let's go back to the actual product pages. On some pages, the lead image is actually a video. Because the site still hasn't officially launched yet, I'm assuming that all the products will eventually also have a video clip. The video displays the opening of the TV show. This is a brilliant idea, as hearing the opening of a beloved TV show certainly brings a flood of happy memories. One downside of this feature, however, is that the quality of the video is quite poor. The blocky video is very intrusive and it interrupts the fun of remissing, especially when switching to full screen. Presumably, they've kept the video files small to allow them to load quickly, but I think they would have been better off placing a priority on quality. Scroll down and we get this additional information section, which is wonderfully done. The text is presented in an easy-to-read way. The episode titles, however, suffer from being a bit repetitive. For example, we know this DVD is about Big Bad Beetleborgs. There's no need to list the name of the show in every episode title. The area makes full use of the page width. Generally on the web, this is a bad idea, as on larger monitors, the line length becomes awkward to read. On the Shout Factory site, however, this isn't a problem, as the thumbnails on the right balance out the page and stop the text area from being too long. One weakness of the product page is the media type selector. It's not clear at a glance which media type I'm buying. The DVD is highlighted in white, but the Blu-ray option jumps off the page more as it uses white text on a black background. It's certainly not a major problem, but they could have eliminated confusion by using a regular checkbox. Let's analyse the navigation. The navigation is very well done, consisting of a streamlined bar that provides links to the key categories. They've left out links to sections such as the blog. Instead, as you might have noticed, these tend to be integrated in the actual articles. This is a very wise decision, as these category links are going to be the options that users are going to be interested in the most, so focusing on them makes them more accessible. This hamburger menu contains the sitemap. Seeing as this map is already present in the footer at the bottom of every page, having it at the top feels a bit unnecessary, but I suppose it is a handy place for users to find things. The search box is especially good. When searching, an image on the left displays the most likely option, with secondary suggestions appearing on the right. Let's analyse the site on mobile. Surprisingly, Shout doesn't have a mobile version. The site still hasn't launched yet, so it could be that the mobile edition will be coming in the future. The large format of the design means that it doesn't work that well on mobile. On tablet, the design works much better. The category pages have fewer columns, which makes them fit perfectly. For the product pages, the columns are the same, but they shrink down in size, allowing the user to browse the page with ease. In conclusion, Shout Factory is a brilliant example of a clean and excellently organised product website. The clever design makes it easy for customers to quickly navigate the vast array of titles. In addition, the site does an excellent job of harnessing the beloved memories customers have of their favourite TV shows. That's it for this episode of Design Mind. A new episode is released every Monday and Thursday. Find us on the web at www.designmind.info. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/designmindinfo. You can also find us on iTunes. We'd love it if you could leave us a review at any of these places. Until next time, happy designing!